Hello, everyone. Susan Gerbic from Psychics Explained. I am about to start the October 28th readings that we attended with Matt Fraser. There are 9 readings, and this is excruciatingly hard to go through since I've already watched them. But we're going to do it again, and this time I'm leaving it for you. I have blurred all the participants because this is a private reading, and I don't want to know who these people are. So their names are blurred and their faces are blurred. And I'm going to be going through and doing commentary as usual. Now, this is our second event we've done like this. So we did one on a Tuesday, and then the following week we did another. So you are watching him do and say a lot of the same things over and over. It's very interesting because I have a group of people who are watching this privately. We live broadcasted this, and the comments that they made were wonderful. So I'll be reading off some of the comments as I go through these 9 videos for you. One of the first things that one of our people said, she said, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was watching last week's." Does he always say the same thing each time? And apparently he does say the same thing each time. Anyways, I've cut off the intro. It's going to just have a little bit of intro for this first video you're going to see. Please leave me comments because you're going to see things that I just can't. I didn't even notice. So, when you think about it, your life experiences and so on will maybe make more sense to what we're seeing. All of this is cold reading. Nobody is being looked up online. And what else? I guess that's all you need to know. This first video is 11 minutes long. 11 minutes long and 5 seconds. And I will break it up as I go. I can't remember exactly what happens in this one. I think it's a single woman. I wonder about doing these myself. But no, we really have to bear witness on these things. You really have to look at these things and see what's going on. He says the same phrases over and over again. My dear friend Fleur, who has Florio's Paranormal Files YouTube channel, she says, "I can't do Matt Fraser. I cannot handle his voice." I'm like, well, I can do it. When we're watching this live, my neighbors were here and they said, "Wait a minute. No, is this his normal voice or have you got this sped up, Susan?" I'm like, "No, this is his normal voice." So he does go fast. But as you watch more and more of these, you get into the rhythm of it, I guess. He is very high energy and he never takes a break. So it makes me look like I'm sleeping as far as energy goes. Quite interesting. But anyway, these are standalone videos, all 9 of them. You can just drop in and watch one if you want, but I think it's better to watch them in order and to film everything and go through everything with no cuts. I don't make any cuts because we're trying to learn and we're trying to see what exactly is going on. The sitters are motivated and they badly want the reading, so they're more likely to ignore the misses, and it's really sad. It's really hard to watch, but that's what's really going on. These are motivated sitters who are hearing what they want to hear, and they know that if they start saying no about something or questioning something, what will happen is Matt will go, "Okay, that's great. Your loved one's gone now." And then they're in. That's it. And a lot of these motivated sitters make the excuse that the medium is, it's kind of woolly. It's not a perfect science. And maybe you have to really stretch your brain to make it fit. And so they're not going to say anything negative on the screen. They're not going to challenge him. They're just going to go with whatever he says and let it make sense. Somebody in the last set I did, there was a series I did, they have yellow borders on all of them. And there's 9 videos also recorded a week before this session you're seeing. And this woman said, "Well, we're trying to make sense of everything. Hold on." She was trying to, and that says everything. We're trying to make sense of everything. So hold on. We're trying to find a way of making what Matt is saying fit. And what Matt is doing here is not much different than most other cold reading mediums. This is very typical, though he is very good at it. And you really see what he's doing when you've watched multiple readings. That's really when it showcases and you can see what's going on. Okay. So there's no hot reading. He doesn't know who these people are. His team member has decided who it is who's going to be getting the reading next. That's basically it. All right, here we start.
Living, I'm paying attention to the dead. So how many times do we do this? And somebody's on the toilet, somebody's doing something they're not supposed to be doing, smoking the silly smoke, whatever it is, make sure that if you don't want it on camera, that's not on camera. And one other thing I gotta tell you as well is please make sure that you're present and paying attention to all of the readings, because I can't tell you how many times people zone off or they're doing something else or they're not paying attention and your loved one could be coming through at the same time. So just because I'm pulling someone up on the screen and I'm reading them, I'm not just reading them. All of the other souls are also here trying to communicate. So I might start reading for them. And then the next thing you know, your dad or your mom or your loved one starts to come through. Make sure that you're paying attention, because if they're coming through, it's because there's a message that they have to deliver. And the saddest part is when someone misses it and they're not paying attention. So I like this to be a fun and uplifting event. I know that everybody's here. Everyone's here and nervous. I can see you guys on that side of the screen. All submissive of you guys look like you're seeing a ghost already. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to shit our pants tonight. Just don't do it on camera. And that being said, I want to get started right away because I see Jordan Dula that's here. I want to start right over there with her. I got my Starbucks here. There's actually a few souls that are here and that are with her. Jordan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Oh my
Where are
gosh.
you right now?
I'm in Williston, North Dakota, but originally from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I am so happy that you're here. And
Thank
right
you.
away, the moment I'm connecting with you, there's a few souls that are here and with you. And first of all, I have your grandmother here that's stepping forward on the other side because she showed me that she's always been like a protector that's here and with you. And then also when I'm connecting, I also have a soul that's coming through that passed tragically here in the physical world. And when I'm connecting, this soul is pushing forward, trying to tell me what happened the day that they died. And more importantly, is coming through to apologize about the circumstances around their passing. And first of all, this was a young soul that had passed. So who is that to you?
It's immediately my dad.
It's
I mean,
him.
he was old. He died on his he died when he was on his birthday, actually, and he was 65 on his 65th birthday last year.
First of all,
That's who I'm connecting with, at least.
well, wait a minute. No, I know it's your father because I'm going to tell you this. And sorry, that's my fault. You're going to know souls appear to me as different angels on the other side. When I'm connected with your dad, you're going to understand that even though he passed and he was older here in the physical world in his 60s, to me, your father's energy feels young when I'm speaking to him because he was not ready to leave this world. He was not ready to go on the other side. I want to jump right into this reading because the moment I'm connecting with your dad, he was stepping forward and put me in his body. And he kept saying to me, Matt, I have to apologize to my daughter. He said, I should have taken better care of myself. I should have taken better care of myself. And he keeps telling me this and telling me this and telling me this. Your dad ignored warning signs. Your dad did not pay attention to the issues that were going on with him. And he also talks about, when I'm speaking to him, that there were things that he was not sharing with you or things that he was keeping secret going on within his body. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
When I'm speaking to your dad, immediately he's making me feel energy around my heart. And he's telling me there was circulation issues with him and he had a weak heart here in this world. Do you understand that?
We didn't know.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. I'm going to tell you because there's a piece to this that I don't want you to speak about yet because I already know when your dad's telling me. What's weird is that the day that your dad died, okay, he's telling me that his heart was affected, but he also said to me it was brought on by a series of events that he was doing. So that's why I didn't want you to say anything because there's a cross that's here, right? Where I know that your dad's heart gave out on him, but I also know that it was triggered by an accident that had happened at the time. Do you understand that?
Okay. I do. Yes.
Because your dad shows me about like going through this strenuous event and then next, his heart giving out. It wasn't like he was just sitting on the couch and this had happened. He's showing me when I'm connecting with him that, first of all, it was like a week's time that I keep seeing this building up where your father's telling me about, pushing his body to the limit, not sleeping, not taking care of himself, doing all of these things. The next thing you know, it was too hard on his body, too hard on his soul, and then he just passed.
Yeah.
So I need you to know this, because your dad tells me there's a question in your heart where you're like, could my dad have been saved?
Right.
And I want you to know is that if your dad got to the doctor earlier, I do believe that he would have been able to, because I believe that this was not just a heart, like normally when someone has a heart attack, it hits them and they die. With your dad,
Mhm.
this was a week-long event where he wasn't feeling good and not taking care of himself. Do you understand that?
I do.
And I see him pushing himself to the limit. I see him outside, like doing work outside, doing work inside, like just like a freaking bull,
Yeah.
working,
He
working,
was.
working.
Yeah.
Even though I see your dad sweating, I see his heart going a million miles an hour, I
Yeah.
see him having anxiety, and I see your dad being like, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. And then on top of it all, I see your dad drinking a beer, like going
Oh.
doing this. I see him doing like all this work, right? Lifting shit up, putting shit down, working outside, doing all this stuff. Like sitting back, sweating.
Wow.
Get me a beer. Get me a beer. Do you understand that?
This is incredible. Yeah.
Your dad just said to me, let my daughter know this is how I lived my life. He says to me, I want her to know that, first of all, yes, I could have been saved. I'm not going to sit here and lie to my daughter. He says, but your dad
Yeah.
also said to me, I didn't do sick, Matt. He says, whether or not I was doing shit at home,
Right.
or if I was in the hospital, your father said he could not sit still. So I'm
Right.
going to tell you that your father just shows me him completely overworked that week. He shows me he pushed his body to the limit, and your dad just said to me, I don't want you to have to hold on to any hurt and pain. Because as your daughter, he tells, as his daughter, you feel responsible. You feel like, oh my God, I should have got my dad to the doctor. Oh my God, I should have made him take care of himself. And your dad said that was not your job. Your
Right.
dad is also showing
Yeah.
me, he always felt like he was young. Even though your dad's 65, he's coming to me like he's 30 years old.
Right.
Your father shows me that he was the life of the party here in this world, that he still loved to go and party. He used to love to drink. He used to love to go out. And he shows me when I'm connecting, Matt, it's crazy because even though he was older, he says to me, I loved my life. He says, and I had a young spirit. And your dad felt in his mind, this is his mind, as long as he was up and moving, like, and as long as he was still working, God couldn't take him. Nothing was going to kill him.
Right.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Your dad just said to me, please tell my daughter that I did not miss out on any of her life. Because your dad said to me that you're still so upset about the milestones that you feel like he missed out on and didn't see.
What? See how this goes? So what happens is Matt comes to a person and says, I have this fictitious person who is coming from the dead, supposedly, who he's talking to in his head, who never knows their own name or the names of anybody else involved. It's just a person. And then when the sitter, who's very motivated, makes a connection to it, and it's really hard not to make a connection to it, considering you have your entire life to choose somebody from. And if Matt doesn't hit right away, then maybe you'll move on, he'll move on to somebody else, or he'll add another element and he'll forget about that person. Right. Also notice, Matt, how constantly he'll say, he's telling me right now. He'll also say, he's talking. What do you mean? When did he have time to tell you right now, Matt? How are you keeping all these conversations in your head? Plus, he's sitting there watching her and hearing what she says. And if you watch Matt's other, in his readings, he says, the dead are all trying to talk to me at once. So he's got conversations going on in his head with the person and her and the other dead people. And he's also responding to them in his head. He says, I just told your dad. I mean, come on. So this starts off with your grandmother. Now, the reason why it started off with your grandmother is because this woman is probably in her 50s or 60s. I've blurred her. You can't see it. So a woman in her 50s, early 60s may have her mother still living. I mean, people are living a lot longer these days. And so he can't just come right out and say it's your mom. So he says grandmother, and she narrows it down. And she said, and then he says a younger male. And she says, oh no, it's my dad. That is who I'm connecting with. And Matt's like happy to go with it. Even though it's not a younger male, her dad, he died in his 60s, and she just went and told him all this information. You can't lose when you're Matt Fraser, when you have a motivated sitter on the other side of the screen from you, you absolutely can't lose. Because he says, well, he's presenting himself as a young man. See what I'm saying? I'm not laughing at her. I'm laughing at the whole situation. And once you break it down in these chunks like this, you really understand what's going on. So what happened to grandma? Are we going to get back to grandma? Poor grandma. And she's got two grandmas. And if by some slight chance she never knew her grandmothers or whatever, he can say a grandmother-like figure. Somebody who was an older woman, could be a teacher, somebody from church, a neighbor, somebody who kind of looked at you as a granddaughter. And that could be almost anybody's. I mean, including when you were a child, like a little child. There could have been a woman who was kind of looked on you as a granddaughter. In fact, I'm thinking about it. I have an Afghan that is I use quite often, and it was made by the next door neighbor, and she was quite elderly. And I look at that and I think of her all the time. I don't even know her full name because we called her some nickname, but I was over her house all the time, and she probably did think of me as a granddaughter of sorts because I don't think she had grandchildren, at least not that were coming over often. Right? Okay, going on from this. She's giving Matt all the information. She won't shut up about that. And he doesn't talk to her and tell her to stop until she's given him a whole bunch of information to go on with the reading so he knows how to go. Matt starts on with the number one killer of men these days. What is it? Heart disease. Something wrong with his heart. Cancer's number 2. And I think for a period of time, I think COVID, for that limited time, I think COVID was number 3. So, and COVID is also another heart kind of thing. I don't remember what year she said. Did she say her father died last year? I think she said he was 66. Look, it's only been a couple minutes and I've already forgotten. It just comes at you so fast. And if I don't write it down, then it's not there. But he starts in with the simplest thing that it could have been, which is a heart problem. And that's so vague. I mean, it could have been a stroke. It could have been all kinds of stuff, but or could have been a cancer and it got into his heart area. I don't know. It's so generic that it could be true in almost every situation. Just once I'm waiting for somebody to say, oh, well, really? He died of his heart condition because his heart condition was great and he died falling out of an airplane. Well, then I'm sure Matt would say, that's because he had a heart attack during the flight. They can't lose. They really can't. And he could just move on to somebody else. So now Matt's blaming the father for not taking care of his health, for not, because she admitted, we don't know actually what killed him. So we don't know if he ended up in the hospital before he died. We don't know if he died they found him sitting in the couch. We don't know if they found him in the garage or in his car, or we don't know any of that. Neither does Matt, because Matt is not psychic. And so he's just keeping it general. If the woman wants to give him the information, sure, he'll go from there, but he's keeping it general. He's not said he was in the hospital. He said he did not take care of himself and he should have gone to the hospital. He should have gotten this taken care of because it was been at least a week that he was doing things that he shouldn't have been doing, drinking beer, working a lot, keeping himself very active, out in the yard, just working all the time and ignoring his health problems and not taking care of his health and not seeing the doctor. So this is typical stereotype men behavior. And it really bugs me because whenever you see these readings done by these cold reading mediums like Matt Fraser and Tyler Henry and others, they just boil people down to just their stereotype. Can't think of the word. Just to that stereotype of what they are, and just loses so much of what people are really like. I mean, was this guy a poet? Did he write songs? Did he play the guitar? Did he paint things? Was he a doctor? Did he save somebody's life once? What? Something more about this man other than some traditional, all men just overwork and they won't go to the doctor. and then they're going to die of heart disease, and they aren't taking care of themselves. I've seen Matt and some of these other cold readers like this go on about how the father won't take care of the house, and he's happy to eat the food, and he won't do housework, and he won't take care of the babies. It's just really kind of mean, you know? And again, he's blaming the victim here. He's blaming the father, unnamed father. Absolutely, the guy's telling him all these stories about his life, but he has not mentioned a name, not even his daughter's name. It is written there on the screen. So maybe you'll get to it. I don't know, but it's written right there on the screen. Yeah, could my dad have been saved? Yes, your dad could have been saved, but it wasn't your business. Just really awful. He says, I don't do sick. I think I've seen him say that phrase a few times before. Okay, so let's continue. We have 4 minutes left, so we're almost more than halfway through. We can do this, you guys. I want you to leave your comments down below this video because you're going to see things that I'm not going to see, and that's how this works. We're a partnership here. We're going through these together.
Both when he was alive and on the other side. And your dad just said to me, I want you to know that I'm with you through everything. He said, I may not have been a man of many words, but there was one thing that I need you to know is that I always loved you. I always appreciated you as my daughter. And your dad said to me that the one thing that he doesn't want you to hold on to is thinking that there were conversations that were missed. Because he says, I know how much you loved me. I know how much you loved me. And he's bringing that through.
That's a big thing.
I know
he didn't talk a lot. So,
well,
yeah.
Not only that.
It's always been said. We just knew, so.
But wait, your dad also said to me, he goes, Matt, and I didn't know how to be a girl dad, he said. He says, I was very tough on my daughter. He says, I treated her like a son. He goes, I treated her like she was a boy. He goes, I gotta admit, I was hard on her. He says,
yeah.
When you were younger, whatever your dad was doing, you were doing. If he was fixing the car,
yeah.
You were fixing the car. If he was going out fishing and doing whatever, you were outdoors with your dad.
Yeah.
But he shows me that the one thing that's so beautiful is that your dad treasures all of these connections. He actually just said to me that you just recently either found old photos or were going through old photos to show me these visions of you going back through like memories of your dad. And he said to me, these are all the memories that I hold close.
Me too.
So your dad just wants to thank you for the way that you loved him and cared for him. He wants to let you know that your grandmother was there on the other side. He sees her and is with her. And your dad just said to me that no matter where you go, I want you to know that I will always be there. I will always be by your side. And one of the ways that your dad reaches you, one of the signs that he sends you is actually with cars. He was obsessed with cars here in this world. Mm-hmm. And do you see cars that were the cars your dad used to drive here in the physical?
I wanted him to come through with that because I really thought it might have been something else, but he's in everything. But yeah, older cars for sure, but I mean, I can't pinpoint one thing, but he's constantly on my mind. So yeah.
I also am hearing the name, hold on. Is there also Tim or Timothy that's also connected?
For me?
No, for your dad. I feel like when I bring up names, right? They're always names that are either on the other side or people that they were close with here in this world, because I kept also hearing that name as well, because your dad excited to see friends with him in spirit. And I want you to know this. He's showing me, he keeps bringing me over to cars and he's showing me license plates in particular. So anytime you see something that reminds you of your dad, whether it be the car that he used to drive or a license plate that connects with you, that's your father. It's his way of letting you know that. And you said to me, I wanted him to come through with that. What does that mean? Were you asking him for that sign?
No, specifically numbers is I see, my favorite number is 4, but I don't even know if he knew that, but I see it everywhere. So I was just like, Dad, is that really you? So
this is for everybody listening. Numbers are the number one way when souls first pass away that they use. 1111, 444, 333, your favorite number, your birthday, whatever it is. But, after your loved ones establish that level of communication, they start with other ways to get in touch with you. For example, it could be that, they use something particular that's connected to them and you. So it could be a car that they used to drive. It could be a certain type of bird, something that's personal. And your dad wants you to look for those signs too, because it's his way of showing you, I'm always there, I'm always with you. And I'm sorry for the way that you had to deal with my death and watch me pass. He wants to let you know that he is completely at peace and he is with you.
Thank you so much.
Is this your
amazing.
first time being here?
It's my first time ever for a reading.
You've never been to an online event, in-person event?
I've never, no. This is just amazing. totally blown away. I appreciate this so much. This is incredible.
You are so welcome. I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm so happy that you decided to join. I wish I could come to the screen and hug you, and I hope to see you next time. I'm in North Dakota.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I also want to go over to Tara Angelica as well.
First time ever having a reading. All right. I just want to this is the first of 9. And oh my God. Again, we have no names. Tim or Timothy, very common names. And she says, for me, because it doesn't hit her. And he goes, no, for your dad. So anybody does your dad know a Tim or Timothy? Anybody? What are the odds of that? I'm tempted to go look. I'm really tempted. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pause. Okay, so I'm back. I love this database. Trust me, all psychics know this stuff. So I don't know if this is in the UK or Australia has your own kind of equivalent to this, but this is what we use in America. Okay, Social Security baby names. So there is a lot of different ways of using this. Let's go down here. You could change in popularity. Timothy. All right. So how, male, obviously. This only goes up to 2000. All right. So only goes up to 2000. So in 2000, it was the 58th most popular name. Okay, let's go back. I forgot that one only does it for a while. Decade. Okay, so if her father was 66 and he died a couple years ago, so that would mean he was born in 1960? Is that about right? Pull out my calculator here. 19. Okay, so 2025 minus 66, 1959. Add a couple years to that, so 1955 maybe. Let's see what we got. Popularity, 1950s. And we could look at 1960 also. 1950s. Okay, most popular names. Do we see Timothy? There you go, number 22. Number 22 in the list of popular names for the 1950s. If we go to the 60s, where is it? Where is Timothy? Number 13. See how that works? Clever, isn't it? So that's one of these tricks that all cold reading mediums know. If they're good, they know how to find information like that. And once you know it, you just know it because, he does thousands of readings. So this isn't that hard for him. So picking a name like Tim or Timothy, it's very likely her father knew somebody by that name. Or it could have been his own name. And if it had, damn, that would have been a good hit. Okay. So dad didn't talk a lot. He was not a girl dad. He was hard on her. He was always doing stuff and she was always helping him. Okay, that's a stereotype of a traditional man born in the 50s, I guess, 50s or 60s. It's a good guess. And remember, I have blurred her, but he is reading a perfectly clear person. So he, like I said, he's done thousands of readings. He can see little micro movements and her eyes change or they well up with water, or if she looks kind of confused. So he can see as he's going along with a cold reading where to adjust, what to change your tactic on. So if he's going down a wrong path, like, oh, your dad, you like to fish and you like to hunt and you like to go work on the cars and all that. And if she kind of had a confused look, like her eyebrows started to come down, he goes, well, that's something he wanted to be doing or something like that. He would just change tactics or just flip to something completely different. I mean, her father might have been a wonderful cook, He might have done a lot of things that aren't what she said. Okay. Old photos of dad. And we've heard this in some of the other readings he's done. He pulls out that you were just looking at some old photos of your dad. People have photos and we look at them, and what is just looked at anyway, he uses that trope all the time. Memories, some of your favorite memories. And as she says, yes, then he says, those were some of dad's favorite memories too. He's telling me that those are some of his favorite memories too. And I want you to think about this. Your favorite memories aren't always with a photograph. So think about some of your favorite memories of watching your child be born, or holding your baby in his arms for the first time and not having a photo of it, or a vacation, or his wedding day, or on and on and on. So what are his favorite memories are all down to the photographs, which is probably not true. People have lots of wonderful memories that have nothing to do with a photograph, but Matt's rewriting her memory. He's what they do. One of the cruelest things these people do is they rewrite your memory, your last memories of these people, your whole feeling of what that relationship was like with your loved one. And now it gets rewritten, and he's rewriting it in a positive way. But we don't really know what all has gone on in her life with her dad. It might have been extremely complicated. It might have been very different. But to have Matt just gloss it over with a stereotypical male father is probably not, well, I mean, she seems to like it, but I don't know if she will later when she thinks about it, what he actually didn't say. He goes on about platitudes. He talks about grandmas over there with him. Well, how do we know that grandma and him actually got along? Well, I guess they did, because there's two grandmas to choose from. One of them might be there. Both probably are there. Grandma's there. Well, why didn't you tell us which grandma? Well, these sitters, and this is what I mean by motivated sitters, they're not going to challenge them ever. They are not challenging him. She's just happy to be hearing from her dad. So at no point is she going to say, which grandma? She's not going to say that. She just says grandma. And I guess it could be, she'd say, well, one of my people I call grandma, one I called Nona or something, but I don't know. The point is, Matt doesn't know either. So he just keeps it generic. And she is too motivated to challenge him on that, to see which grandma are you talking about. Again, it could be another kind of person in her life who wasn't exactly a biological grandmother or raised as a grandmother, but maybe that's that grandma. So she went to hear about dad. Cars. Now, again, if you watch my readings from the ones that have the yellow on it, and maybe later on in these readings again, you're going to see Matt do the same thing with the stereotype of a man, and talking about him and his love of cars. It's just a constant refrain. And he talks about license plates. I've got a nice video up of him talking about license plates. And he collected them, or that he remembered them, or something of license plates, cars. So that's a typical, I don't know, maybe Matt just says everybody over there that's a male had something to do with license plates. Could have been his favorite restaurant he used to go to, and there was a place that had those booths, and then it had license plates around the outside. Anything can trigger that memory for her. And this thing about numbers, oh my gosh, it's a trope in the psychic world about numbers, 1111 and all these other kinds of things. They're just numbers. They appear normally in our lives. So she says, I was wondering about numbers because my favorite number was 4. I don't know if dad knew that or not. And she sees it everywhere. OMG. She sees the number 4 everywhere. If I was more clever, I'd put that a little gif from the Monty Python's Holy Grail, where the guy's holding the holy hand grenade and he's going 1, 2, 4. But I'm not that clever. I'm not going to do that. But the point is, of course, you see 4 everywhere. And when you have a number associated in your brain that means something, well, you're going to see it everywhere, even more. It's like when you name your child a certain name and you think it's unique and unusual, And then they start school and you go, oh, all these kids here have that name. Or you buy a car and you say, oh, I'm going to buy this gray car and I'm sure nobody else has this. And then you start seeing it everywhere, especially when you're trying to find your car in the parking lot, a very big parking lot. It's you just notice it more. So it has nothing to do with it being there more. The number is there anyway. Oh, it just drives me crazy. So this woman is completely inexperienced at this. She has no idea what she's getting into. She probably has no concept of the term cold reading, but she just heard that Matt Fraser is America's #1 psychic, and he's a New York Times bestselling author. He had a successful TV show that was canceled after one season. Anyway, very interesting. I hope I covered everything that you guys saw, and if you have something that I didn't cover, please leave it in the notes. I hope you like that Social Security database. I use it all the time whenever I'm talking about cold readers. It's fascinating to pull it up. I don't even know the answer. I just know that Timothy was probably a pretty common name. Tim or Timothy. I mean, what if Jim had hit? Then I guess it hits. Oh, I meant Jim. Oh gosh, Thomas is popular. Oh, you never know. So they know these common names and they're just making a judgment. They're making a decision. So like, oh, let's just for the heck of it. Her grandmother would be, let's say it's her dad's mom. So if dad was born in 1950, they say about 25 years, because it's not that when you have your first child, but kind of an average. So if dad was born in 1955, so let's 1930, right? Wouldn't that be 1930? 40, 55, yeah. So let's take a quick peek at what the popular names were in the 1930s. Just for fun. Maybe it'll come up on one of the other videos. Go. And this is in America, so we don't know. So if she was a female, her name would have been Mary, Betty, Barbara, Shirley. I mean, how many people know Shirley's now? Patricia's, Dorothy's. Oh my goodness. Joan, Margaret, Nancy, Helen, Carol, Joyce, Doris, Ruth, Virginia, Marilyn, Elizabeth, Jean, Frances, Beverly, Lois, and so on. It's really interesting. Here's a Mildred. I mean, how many Mildreds do you know now? Number 35 on the list. Rose. Oh my gosh, the psychics love the name Rose. They're always bringing up Rose. It was used a lot as a middle name also. And it could have referred to a rose, like an actual physical rose. Margaret and Elizabeth, from what I understand in Britain, were super popular because of QE2 and her sister Margaret. And so those are very common names over in the UK, very popular because of the popularity of the Queen and her sister. And they were around for a very long time. So lots of kids got named after them. Very interesting, huh? Fascinating. I was in the business of a baby photographer 34 years, and I was really interested in baby names and where they're coming from, and if you'd see some new trend coming in, and where did that come from? A lot of it was from Disney. Isn't that interesting? Soap operas and Disney. All right. Comments below. Thank you all.